Hey everyone, my name is Evan, and in today's video, you are going to learn everything you need to know about the FeiyuTech G6 gimbal for your action camera. We're gonna unbox it, set it up, balance it, discuss the specs. I'll show you how to connect it to the app, and you're gonna see some real footage taken with my DJI Osmo Action Cam mounted on the FeiyuTech G6. The action cams these days, like the DJI Osmo Action and the GoPro Hero 7 Black, come with electronic image stabilization, and they do a great job in reducing the shake and the jitters from your video. But if you really need very cinematic, professional looking footage, especially if you're doing something like skiing or snowboarding or riding a skateboard, you're gonna also need a mechanical gimbal. What these gimbals do is reduce all of the shake and all of the up and down movements from things like running and footsteps. Not only are these gimbals light, small, compact, and perfect for traveling, they're also very affordable. The FeiyuTech G6 can be found online from anywhere between $150 to $200. For the cheapest possible price, click on the link below in the description. So let's go ahead and open it, see what's inside, and get it set up. So the first thing you'll notice is this handy traveling case, and it's a soft shell case, but it feels pretty secure from the outside. You also have the instructions and the warranty card, but I found that most of these instructions are in Chinese, so they're not very helpful. There is some English, however, it looks like it's been Google translated, so it's not entirely helpful. That's why you need to watch this video to get everything set up. I'm gonna set these to the side. So when we open up the case, what you'll see is the gimbal in this pretty secure case. It's not really held down in place that much, but these little Velcro straps do keep it somewhat in place. You'll notice the charging cables and a cable to connect micro USB to USB-C, which you can use to charge the action camera through the gimbal. That's kind of convenient. And then it'll come with 2 extra pins just in case you lose them. And you have this battery. I would go ahead and pop this into the gimbal straight away and get it charging, because it does take about 2 to 3 hours to fully charge from 0%. And to do that, you just unscrew here. You put the plus side down into the barrel, and then you simply screw it back on. And there you go. One thing you will notice that is missing is a tripod. And I always like to have a tripod with these little gimbals, not only for getting things like time-lapse shots, or if you need to take some sort of selfie video, but also just for getting the whole thing set up. I don't know why they didn't include one, but here I have one that I bought on Amazon that you can get for $5. Again, it's available through the link in the description. So the first thing I like to do, let's chuck away this case, is screw the gimbal onto the tripod. This will make getting set up way easier. Then I'm gonna face the LCD screen towards me. I'm gonna have this G6 to my left, to your right. So you can see that the correct way for this is for the G6 to be pointing out to my left. Or another way to remember it is that you want the lens on the camera touching the motor. So to get set up, you first have to unscrew these pins. And it is a little bit tricky. It doesn't just snap on or clamp in like some gimbals. You actually have to remove these pins, but that's because this is designed to be used with a number of different cameras. You can use it on the Sony action cams, you can use it on the GoPro Hero 7s. I'm gonna use it on the Osmo because that's my favorite action cam at the moment. So again, you wanna have the lens touching the motor. So I'm gonna push this upright like this. I'm gonna get the clamp again. And it is a little bit tricky. That's why I highly suggest getting this tripod for $5. Okay, so now you can see that it's not balanced. And you always want to make sure to balance your gimbals, because that will result in better performance, less shakes, a longer motor life, and a better battery life. So to do that, you unscrew this back motor counterclockwise. And now that allows me to slide this arm. So if I slide it to the left here, my left, your right, you can see it falls down this way. So I need to go back this way. And if I go too far to the right, it falls down this way. So I need to go back to my left. And when it's just right, I can let go and it'll balance in the middle. And then I can tighten the motor again. And that looks about right. I'm gonna do a little bit more. You kind of wanna just do micro adjustments to get it perfect. Great, and now I'm gonna power on by holding the mode button for 3 seconds. And the gimbal will come to life. One thing I forgot to mention is that straight away you're gonna wanna plug in the micro USB cable into a charging block and charge this thing for at least 3 hours. It took me around 3 hours to fully charge from 0%. But once you're fully charged, Feiyu claims that you can get 12 hours of operating time. From my test, it's closer to 8 hours, but it's still a pretty impressive battery life. So straight away when it starts up, the default mode is pan follow. So if I pan to the left, if I pan to the right, if I pan to the left, pan to the right, it follows. If I tilt down, the camera stays facing forward. So to change into the next mode, I simply tap the mode button once. And now I'm in lock mode. And as you can see, no matter which way I move the gimbal, the camera stays facing the way it was pointing when I initially put it into lock mode. So even if I do a 360 pan, you can see the camera stays put. What's cool with this gimbal is that you can manually adjust the direction of the camera just by using your hands. Some gimbals don't allow you to do that and they start freaking out. I can also use the joystick. So now if I double tap the mode button, I'm in follow mode. So if I pan to the left, if I pan to the right, it follows. But also if I tilt down and tilt up, the camera follows. If I hold the trigger button on the back of the gimbal, I'll go into follow mode. So that's just a quick way to enter follow mode. And you can adjust these buttons in the app. The other button that you have here is the tilt control. So if I move it to the left, you'll see that the horizontal tilt of the gimbal is moving. So you can kind of get some cool Dutch angle, some cool unique shots if you use the tilt. And I can tilt it back. So if I push the mode button 3 times, it'll change the selfie mode and the gimbal will swing around 180 degrees. And if I want to go back, I just click the trigger twice. So that's pretty useful if you're out and you want to get a selfie, just 1, 2, 3, and you can film yourself. Before I go any further, I'd just like to say if you're enjoying this video, please click the like button, hit subscribe, and if you have any questions at all, you can leave them in the comments below. I respond to every single question within 48 hours. And if you want to see this gear in action in the real world, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. You can click on the link below in the description. And finally, if you're considering purchasing this action camera gimbal, please do so through the affiliate link in the description. Every purchase through that link goes to supporting this channel so I can make more videos for you guys. Now, I have the DJI Osmo Action Cam with this gimbal, and unfortunately, the FeiyuTech G6 is not compatible, meaning that you cannot control the Osmo Action through the gimbal. However, I can simply just click the record button, or I can turn on the voice controls of the DJI Osmo Action. So I could just say something like, start recording, and if I have my voice controls on, it'll start recording. So although it's not compatible with the gimbal, it's not the end of the world. I actually prefer this action cam to the GoPro, so I still find it very useful, this gimbal. If I did have the GoPro Hero 7 Black, I could control all of the settings directly through these buttons, and I could start and stop recording through this button here on the right side of the gimbal. Overall, this gimbal is built pretty nice, I must say. It's made out of aluminum, so it feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap. The only thing that might feel a little bit cheap are the buttons, which are plastic. The diameter of the grip is perfect size. It feels great in your hand, and it also comes with this rubber grip. It's good to mention also that there's a 1/4 inch screw on the side, so if you wanted to connect any sort of microphone or any other sort of mount, you can. And it is splash proof, so you can take it skiing or snowboarding. It's not waterproof though. You couldn't take it in the water, but you wouldn't have to worry if a little bit of snow or something splashed up into it. Now I just want to show you some real world footage that I've taken. And you can see here that without a gimbal, it's very shaky. And if I add a gimbal, you can see it's much smoother. The footsteps are basically all removed. And if I turn on electronic image stabilization, you can see that it's even extra smooth. So all said and done, it's a great gimbal for the price. I mean, for under $200 US, like you can't find anything better. The FeiyuTech G6 is the market leader for action camera gimbals, so I highly recommend it. There could be some updates with the firmware, and I really wish that they would start producing the instructions in the app in English. Overall, this is a really great gimbal, and I'd love to try it out with a GoPro and actually control the settings of the camera through the gimbal. One last thing to mention is that you can charge the camera through the gimbal. So if your battery is fully charged and you want to charge your camera. One last thing I should mention is that if you want, you can charge your camera through the gimbal. So let's say you have a full battery on the gimbal, your camera's running low, you can connect this micro USB to this USB-C cable. However, the caveat is that the entry port for charging on the Osmo is on this side. So I would actually have to flip the camera over, record in upside down mode, and then I could connect from here the USB cable to the camera. Again, I would have to flip this over, so it is a little bit of a pain. But all said and done, this is a great gimbal, and I would highly recommend it for under $200 US. You cannot find anything as high-powered, as well-built as this for that price. If you'd like to support this channel, please click the like button, hit subscribe, and if you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them in the comments below. I try to get back to every question within 48 hours. Thanks for watching.